Welcome to Health Caringness.
Your daily dose of health and wellness.
Okay, let's just jump right into this explainer, because waking up with a parched mouth, it isn't just some normal, annoying part of getting older. It's actually a critical message your body is trying to send you. We've kind of been conditioned to believe that as we age, discomfort is just par for the course, right? But today, we're going to completely dismantle that idea, using some genuinely fascinating clinical insights. So picture this. You wake up, you've got that awful morning sandpaper feeling. And what do most people do? They just reach for a glass of water and go about their day. But here's the thing. That feeling is often a highly deceptive clue hiding a much deeper systemic issue. Your body is incredibly smart, It doesn't do things by accident. When something as absolutely fundamental as the moisture in your mouth just disappears, it's raising a massive red flag. And to put this into perspective, the sheer scale of the problem is just staggering. Literally, nearly 1 in 3 adults over the age of 60 experiences this chronic symptom. And the crazy part? They often dismiss it entirely. They don't mention it to their pharmacist. They definitely don't bring it up at their annual checkup. It's just hiding right there in plain sight. Now, we tend to think of saliva as, just moisture, just water. But it's actually your body's first line of immune defense. It's this incredibly complex biological fluid packed with minerals, enzymes, and antimicrobial proteins. So when your salivary glands slow down and you lose that fluid, you aren't just thirsty. You are literally opening the front door and inviting bacteria, fungus, and viruses straight into your bloodstream. In fact, stripping away that salivary shield is associated with a terrifying 45% higher risk of systemic infections in older adults. Now, your baseline saliva production already naturally drops by roughly 30 to 40% after age 60. But when you combine that baseline drop with the underlying causes we're about to dive into, that vulnerability becomes outright dangerous. Let's look at causes 7, 6, and 5, habits and deficiencies. We're going to start right at the foundation. These are 3 everyday issues: mouth breathing, afternoon hydration drops, and specific nutrient gaps. These are the kinds of things that often fly completely under the radar for most of us. Because number 7 is sleeping with your mouth open. But here's the catch. Mouth breathing is rarely just a bad habit. It is often a blaring red flag for sleep apnea, which is a really serious condition affecting nearly 22% of seniors. When you breathe through your mouth all night long, the airflow evaporates moisture way faster than your glands can possibly replace it. And if that's being driven by sleep apnea, leaving it untreated can vastly increase your risk of a stroke by 60% and heart failure by 40%. It's just a massive domino effect. Moving on to cause number 6. Okay, let's talk about that massive mistake of chugging water at 10 p.m. Honestly, it does absolutely nothing for your morning dry mouth, except, guarantee a midnight trip to the bathroom. And why is that? Because your body doesn't hydrate in real time. The actual deficit happens if you ignore your hydration between noon and 4 p.m. Adults over 60 who fail to drink enough fluids during this specific afternoon window are 62% more likely to report severe overnight dry mouth. Your kidneys just get less efficient with age, and if you let yourself slip into a low-grade dehydration state by late afternoon, your body is going to make you pay the price overnight. Because number 5 really just comes down to cellular fuel. When you lack vitamin A, your mucous membranes physically thin out, they become less functional, and that leads to a 41% drop in resting saliva. It's wild. Meanwhile, a lack of B vitamins, specifically B3 and B12, actually short-circuits the nervous system signals that tell your mouth to produce saliva in the first place. So you could drink all the water in the world, but if your cells don't have the basic nutrients to function, your mouth is going to stay totally dry. Now we move on to causes 4, 3, and 2, systemic health red flags. So, if basic habits and vitamins aren't the culprit here, we officially enter medical detective territory. We are looking at blood sugar imbalances, autoimmune disorders, and early neurological changes. This is the stage where your body is practically screaming at you to pay attention. Let's take Margaret's story, for example. She's 71, and she had been complaining of dry mouth for 2 whole years. Well, her morning dry mouth and her nighttime urination were actually the early, completely hidden signs of uncontrolled blood sugar and undiagnosed type 2 diabetes. You see, when your blood sugar is too high, your kidneys go into absolute overdrive trying to filter it out. They start pulling water from your tissues, dehydrating you from the inside out. But the amazing part, once Margaret got her blood sugar under control, her dry mouth vanished entirely. Like it was never there. Because number 3 hides in plain sight, and that's autoimmune conditions. Listen, if your dry mouth is paired with dry, gritty, or maybe burning eyes, especially if you're a woman over 60, you absolutely must ask your doctor about Sjogren's syndrome. Nearly 4 million Americans live with this, and women represent 90% of the cases. And astoundingly, people suffer for an average of 3 whole years before getting a proper diagnosis, mostly because these symptoms are just brushed off as, oh, too much screen time, or just getting older. Because number 2 connects your mouth directly to your brain. Your salivary glands are controlled by the autonomic nervous system. Take a look at a patient like 78-year-old James. For him, a dry mouth combined with losing his sense of smell were actually the very first signs of early Parkinson's disease. Autonomic decline can actually cause dry mouth 4 to 6 years before classic motor symptoms ever even appear. Seriously, no symptom is trivial. We just have to learn how to listen to them. Okay, here we are at cause number 1, the most dangerous culprit.
We've reached the number 1 most widespread and most consistently overlooked cause of morning dry mouth. And guess what? It's sitting quietly in your medicine cabinet right this second. There are over 500 commonly prescribed medications. We're talking blood pressure pills, bladder medications, antidepressants, even over-the-counter allergy meds that list dry mouth as a side effect. And when older adults take an average of 5 or more of these every single day, the cumulative damage is absolutely profound. You're looking at a 73% higher rate of tooth decay and a massive increase in oral fungal infections.
But here's the thing you really need to grasp. Severe medication-induced dry mouth isn't just an annoyance. It's a clinical marker of what's called anticholinergic burden. That's a big term, but basically it happens when your medications block a key neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. And this literally impacts your brain health. High anticholinergic burden is linked, in multiple large studies, to a significantly elevated long-term risk of cognitive decline and dementia.
But the power of a simple medication review, it can be totally life-changing. Take William. He took the exact same combo of meds for 6 years. But once his pharmacist swapped out his over-the-counter sleep aid and his antihistamine, not only did his severe dry mouth vanish within weeks, but his afternoon brain fog completely lifted. He literally thought he was just aging, but his medications were actually suppressing his entire system.
All right, let's wrap this up with your dry mouth action plan. Here is your immediate checklist. Let's start with the deuce. Start front-loading your water in the afternoon, right between noon and 4 p.m. Turn on a bedroom humidifier tonight. Set it between 40 and 50% humidity to stop that overnight moisture loss. And maybe try nasal strips or sleeping on your side to encourage nasal breathing. Now for the don'ts. Don't chug water right before bed. It's just going to lead to bathroom trips, trust me. Don't ignore dry mouth if it comes with dry eyes or joint pain. And most importantly, immediately ditch those over-the-counter sleep aids containing diphenhydramine. It is literally one of the most potent salivary suppressants out there. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to think about this. Aging doesn't take away your body's ability to recover. It simply demands that you listen closer. So ask your doctor for a medication review. Take a hard look at your daily habits. Which of these 7 hidden causes surprise you the most about your own body? Keep asking questions and start listening to your body's warning signals today. Because what is your body really trying to tell you?
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time and support.